There's our good boy Rush. Okay, so... I mean, we're moving on to Mega Man 4. Mega Man 4 was... I think it was shortly after this point that Mega Man X came out. The Super Nintendo was out by this point. So some of the enthusiasm for the original series was dying down by this point. There were Game Boy titles out. But this game adds a lot to the franchise. It's one of my favorites. But we're well into the 90s at this point. We can see, so we got AD 2000. Household robots rock and roll were created by master robot designer Dr. Light, and were enjoying their peaceful days. So, I mean, we're retelling the story of Mega Man 1 here. It's certainly familiar by this point. But, I guess they wanted a way to tell this story to newbies. So here we see Mega Man taking up the fight, and I just want to take this opportunity to remind people to take up the fight. Donate what you can to Black Lives Matter and to bail funds across the U.S. to help out. So here we find out about our new Mega Man villain, Dr. Cossack, who we see on the right there. So this is the first mention we get of his arm cannon being called the Mega Buster, and this game introduces something neat. We can charge up the Mega Buster, give it a little extra oomph. Alright, do I have any viewers right now? I don't see anybody. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Toadman. So these are all supposed to be robots created by Dr. Cossack in his attempt to take over the world. So the rain is constantly pushing me back here. It can be a little difficult to deal with at times. Toadman is notorious for being one of the easiest bosses in the Mega Man series to take on. But this stage is not a joke. It's not the worst starting place, so it's a decent starting place, but don't underestimate the stage, just because everyone is going to remind you, oh hey, Toadman's the easiest. Yeah, but the stage is kind of difficult. As we wander through these sewers here, we're going to see some rats. Poor rats. You guys get a bad rap. Alright, we got a giant snail. It's gonna shoot his eyeballs at us for some reason. Boomerang eyeballs. Who'da thunk it? If you fall into that waterfall there, you will die, so be careful with that. Alright, we got some spikes at the bottom of the screen. They're not too much of a problem. These jumps are not too difficult. He says as he jumps and falls on the spikes. Oh, man! I bumped my head there and screwed that up. Yeah, okay. Well, famous last words, right? Alright. So yeah, there is a pit down there. You do have to be careful with these waterfalls. So, as I said, in this game we're going to find the pea shooter does much less damage than it used to, so we're going to have to rely on being able to charge up our attack. That time I did not bonk. That is good. Alright, and we're through the stage. Let's see if I eat my words again and manage to screw up this Toadman fight somehow. So the big thing with Toadman is, as long as you keep shooting at him, he can't get his one attack off. So he has a attack called the Rain Flush that covers the whole screen. But we're just going to keep shooting him, and he's not going to be able to hit us. And that's all there is to it. One of the creepier things about his design, if you look carefully, those little bulbs on his head are supposed to be his eyes. So his actual robot eyes there, the googly eyes, are in a toad mouth. Not fun to think about. Very creepy design. Alright, so get the Rush Marine. We're not going to see much use of the Rush Marine in this game. Alright, Brightman's next. He's just a giant light bulb, so... yeah, I don't have much else to say about that. He's a light bulb. So they're going to turn out the lights on us a couple times here as we shoot these enemies that are light bulbs, but if we shoot the enemies that are fireworks, it'll turn the lights back on. Alright, those spikes will kill us instantly, so we want to use these grasshoppers, locusts, whatever they are, to get across the spikes. Crickets? I don't know. I don't really need that health, so I'm not going to bother with it. Okay, so there is a ladder here. And we can take this to take a different path through the stage. Just take a ride on these platforms and scooch over here. Hey, free E-Tank, free extra life. Nice of them. Trouble is, the platforms are not there for our ride back, so we're going to have to use the rush coil to get across these gaps. Oh well. Rush is our good boy, he'll get us out of a jam. We're through most of the worst of the stage. Alright. So Brightman is much like Flashman. He's going to try to freeze us in place. I'm going to pull out the Rain Flush and just tag him a couple times with this. He only uses the Flash Stopper there at certain intervals of health. But it's faster for me to take him out this way. Down he goes. Alright, I still have no viewers, so I'm just gonna do this in regular order, like I said. So we're gonna go from Brightman to Pharaoh Man. Pharaoh Man's actually, within the Mega Man community, he's a very popular character. Yeah, as I said, by the time this game came out, I think it was not as well received as the previous ones, just because, I think the Super Nintendo was out by this point. People were kind of not interested in playing 8-bit games anymore, which is a shame, because so many of the best games in the NES library came out in the 90s during the 16-bit era. There were quite a few of them that were very difficult to get your hands on. Alright, so this is a secret here. If you use the rush coil to get across that gap rather than jump in that hole, which is the way you're intended to go, if we just cross over here, we get the balloon, which is one of the most useful items in the game. It's like the #1 platform from Mega Man 2. So it'll create platforms that'll rise up, and we can use those to get across gaps. Rush is still going to be our good boy method of getting through most of those kinds of situations, but there are going to be moments where the balloon is a better choice. Alright, so if we fall at any of these spots, it can very easily end our playthrough of Pharaoh Man stage, so you really want to keep moving along and try not to get shot there. If you fall in that gap, you're alive for a couple seconds because of the invincibility frames, but not for long. Okay. So we've made our way to Pharaoh Man here. It's faster to take him out with normal shot, that way you can charge, because you can charge your shots that way. We're just going to freeze him with Brightman's weapon and shoot him with our regular pea shooter. This is slower than trying to beat him normally, but it's safe. And, you know, safe is good. Safe is very good. Alright, next is Ring Man. Ringman stage is, well, we've got these little platforms that disappear and reappear, but they do so in a certain pattern. It has a lot more mini-bosses than we're used to. Because we have these hippo guys, and we're going to see some other ones later. Alright, so this is the other mini-boss we're going to be dealing with. He's only vulnerable when he shoots out the rings, and we have to tag those eyes. Fortunately, way back here, he can't hit us, so... fairly straightforward. And we have another hippo here. It says I've got some viewers on YouTube. Can any of you say hello, or... anybody actually watching? Alright, so this is our introduction to Eddie the Flip Top. He's a new friend. He'll drop in, open his lid up, and give us some... a randomized item to help us out. I like to think the name Eddie is a reference to Iron Maiden's mascot. I don't know about how any of you feel about that. Ringman is actually an excellent choice to also take on first. It's not as difficult as it looks. As long as you're smart about how you deal with these disappearing, reappearing platforms and just follow their... realize that which direction they disappear in. There's not a whole lot of risk that you're going to get dropped on the spikes or holes. And the mini-bosses are not as threatening as they look. Alright, so I'm going to swap out for Pharaoh Shot here. This is a chargeable weapon similar to Heatman's weapon, but it can be fired in any direction we choose. It's one of the most overpowered weapons in this game. So, very nice to have on hand. Ringman's weapon is actually extremely useful as well. We're going to be hemorrhaging ammo for it, though, unfortunately. I just wish it had the, the ammo capacity that the Quick Boomerang does. So we're going to move on to Dustman. Dustman stage is, you know, pretty much a trash compactor. Oh, for those of you on, looks like on YouTube I had a visit from my friend on the East Coast, so I'm going to say hello to my friend Brian. Good to see you, however briefly. It is a weekday, so I'm gonna keep this up as long as I can. I got, like I said, I got some of my own business to take care of today, so there are gonna be some breaks, but I'm gonna stream as long as I can. Keep this going as long as I can. Alright, so, these crushers here, if I get smacked by them, I'm dead. So we're gonna take this nice and slow, and it does remember which of these blocks you've destroyed, thankfully. Dustman's another stage where I think if you're smart, you can... If you take it nice and slow, and you're smart with it, you're take it nice and easy. It's not a bad choice for beginners. You know, you just, there's not too many ways to die here. The crushers are the worst of it, and the problem is Dustman himself has a little bit of RNG to him. If he wants to, he can remain completely invincible. See, when he's doing that and trying to suck you in, he can keep that up as long as he wishes. But, you know, you smack him with a couple of buster shots, with a couple of charged buster shots, you can kill him just as quickly as with Ring Boomerang. If you jump in place when he shoots the garbage shot at you, the Dust Crusher it's called, it will split diagonally, so it will not hit you if you jump. Alright, so we're moving on to Skullman. Skullman's another favorite. I mean, his name is Skullman, come on! That is so great! So this is the first introduction of these little shield smasher enemies. I don't know what they're actually called, but they're going to become a regular. We'll see much of them in the coming Mega Man games. Here's Eddie the Flip Top again. Oh, he's adorable. Poor guy doesn't have hands, though. Again, give your robots some hands, people. If you want them to be really useful. I mean, especially if they're sentient robots, because, you know, their lives are going to be really nasty without hands. Poor R2-D2 out there with no hands. I mean, come on. C-3PO, you know, just lording it over him. Oh my, I say, R2, I'm so scared and hopeless and useless, and come on, man, you've got hands. Look at R2, he braves through everything with no hands. Okay, that was a... I needed to get a little closer there before taking that jump. That's okay. I'm not gonna resort to self-flagellation over that mistake, though. It happens. This is a nice stage, by the way, to farm E-Tanks in, because this game, like I said, Mega Man 4 is going to let us enter and re-enter stages, so if you've beaten all 8 Robot Masters and you need E-Tanks before going on to face Dr. Cossack, well, this is a good stage to get your E-Tank fix. Because you got 2 of them right there. Alright, so these skeletons, if you don't use the full charge on them, they can put themselves back together. So, just a heads up there. Alright, so we're going to switch to Dust Crusher. And this will, it doesn't go through Skullman's Skull Shield, but it does a ton of damage to him when he releases it. So we're going to use this. So we tend to wait until he's firing his cannon at us before we shoot him with Dust Crusher. It's always hard to tell where he's going to stop when he charges at you like that. But yeah, the Dust Crusher makes such short work of him that we can just out-damage him. Charged Mega Buster can take him out pretty quickly, though. He's not that difficult. Not when compared to enemies like, enemies like Pharaoh Man, Bright Man, Dive Man, definitely. Drill Man is absolutely a nightmare sometimes. So, yeah, I'm still talking to myself here, so, but I appreciate anybody stopping by to say hello. Alright. So these whale mini-bosses, can be a little hard to dodge, but thankfully they don't have much health. This is one of the more difficult levels for a beginner to take on first. Thanks, Eddie. Those manta rays there, or stingrays, or whatever they are, best to take them out quickly. They'll follow you to a certain extent. Alright, we got another whale here. If he shoots those mines there, he's going to try and suck you in. So make sure to resist that. Alright, so this may look like a pit here, but it's another secret. They hid that well, I think. This is going to lead us to another special item for the game. What we're going to find down here is the wire attachment. We can use that to shoot at the ceiling, and it'll pull us up. Alright, nice. We managed to get through that whale without getting hit. You can kind of lead the torpedoes from the whale just a little bit. And when you do that, just waiting for that mine to explode. When you lead them, you can jump over them. Yeah, touching those mines is not an instant kill, but it does hurt. Alright. So we're going to use the Skull Shield on Dive Man here. He's going to run across the room very quickly. So we want to make sure not to touch him. The skull barrier will obviously take care of any of his shots, and we just take advantage of the fact there's water in the room to really jump over him easily. I think if there were no water in the room, he'd be a much more difficult boss, but thankfully there is, so we can just get through this without taking any hits. Alright, so we got a choice between Drill Man, 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 and Drill Man. I think I'll do Drill Man. They're being really friendly with those extra lives so far. Nah, this is some strange RNG. I don't trust this. They're giving me too many extra lives. I mean, I'm not even going to bother trying for that extra life down there. And why would you, when you got this many? Alright. Getting overwhelmed by these ladybug copters here. Huh. Look at that! What is going on here? That's crazy. Alright, we're gonna use the wire here so you can see it. I feel like I should be making some jokes about the wire now. Something about Omar. I don't know. If you don't flip these switches, there is no ground there for you to land on. So you've got to be very careful about timing these jumps. Alright, so we're going to use the dive missiles. They home in on Drill Man. Drill Man is an RNG nightmare here. He can tunnel under the ground indefinitely and just really ruin our day. And he is invulnerable while doing that. Okay. Okay, so that went okay. I've seen better RNG on that. But, hey. Let's see here. So we're going into Cossack stage. So he has his own castle here in Siberia. Seems like a bad place to build a castle. So his castle consists of 4 stages, just like the original Skull Castle. And we are stuck in snow here, so we move very slowly while walking through it. These platforms are icy, so as usual I have to be careful because I slide on them. So we're just sort of carefully climbing to the top here, casually. Oh, I forgot to grab the... No, that's alright. Alright. Not the worst thing in the world. We'll just fill it up here. Alright. Alright, we're sliding onward. We're going to switch to the ring boomerang. That is the weakness of this boss. So here we have Mothra. I don't know where the 2 fairies are, but there goes Mothra. Any Goji fans out there? All right. I'm going to take this opportunity to refill my ring boomerang. Because we'll definitely be using that again. Alright. We're going to get some Rust Jet use here. Notice that I can no longer push it in any direction I wish. It just goes straight forward. I can move it slightly up and down, but unfortunately, we no longer have the freedom that we once did with the Rust Jet. It always moves constantly forward now. Alright, so these platforms with the spikes here, we just sort of have to watch that blinking light and time our jumps accordingly. Because the spike does hurt us. Actually, let's get some use out of the wire here. Like it can make... By using the wire, if you push up to use it, you can make Mega Man look up to indicate he's about ready to use it. So you can actually make him headbang here. Da 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 da. Alright, wait for this thing to come up. I'm gonna just jump on up here. We can use the drill bomb to make a hole in that wall there. And grab that E-tank. And we're now at, is that 6 or 8? I think it's 6. I'm not going to bother with that extra life. Alright, so we're going to use the Dust Crusher on this boss here. I do not recall what this boss is called. And we just kind of have to position ourselves on the inside as it slides in here. Hey, 2 cycles, not the worst. Alright, stage 3 here is going to be a trip across the roof. A lot of danger of falling and dying on this level. Like so. And get a good look at that minaret there. Is that the word for it? Minaret? Me brain not worky right now. So this is an auto-scroller, so the usual headaches with auto-scrollers apply. Alright, we can use the ring boomerang to kill these things, thankfully. They are normally not vulnerable to the Mega Buster. More auto-scrolling. Alright, so the second you step off these platforms, they actually rise rather than fall. Let's fill that ring boomerang back up. Because we're going to get a lot of use out of that. A lot of bosses coming up are going to be weak to the ring boomerang. Alright, we're just going to ride this down. And I can use a balloon to slide in here, literally. And we got that. Alright, I'm going to pull up the Pharaoh shot. And that's as simple as that. You can just stand there and dodge most of his shots. I could have used the charged Mega Buster, but it would have taken more time because you can't hit him when he's on the spike floor there with the Mega Buster. So we're moving into stage 4 here. This is the finale for Castle Cossack. Will this turn out to be the end for Mega Man 4? Let's find out. Nice little moon in the background there. Alright, let me fill up the Pharaoh shots here. Let's get some balloons. Give me that E-Tank. Alright, so we're going to take this way. There's 2 ways through the stage, but this way nets us an extra E-Tank, so we're going to go that way. So who's that little blonde girl on the right? We haven't seen her yet. I mean, it's not Roll. Roll doesn't wear a Ushanka like that. Well, we're about to find out. Alright. Pulling out the Dust Crusher. Here's Dr. Cossack and his claw machine. So we want to slide underneath him, otherwise he can grab us and slam us into the ground. Alright, he's done for. Here comes Proto Man. Here's this little girl. Please, Mega Man, don't! My father is not really evil. Dr. Wily took me hostage and forced my father to fight you. Please, Mega Man, don't hurt my father anymore. Oh, darling Kalinka. Father, Mega Man, forgive me. You betrayed me, Proto Man. I'm going to break you, Mega Man. So it was Dr. Wily all along. For those not picking up on the theme here, it's always Dr. Wily all along. There comes the eyebrow wiggle. So, Kalinka and Dr. Cossack get an odd nod once in a while in the lore, but we won't really be seeing them again. But the manuals over the years mention them once or twice. Some of the lore mentions them once or twice. They show up in the comics every once in a while. That's the last we're really going to be seeing of either Dr. Cossack or Kalinka in the games themselves. Alright, so we're moving on to another Skull Castle. Dr. Wily somehow manages to build these massive castles. I do not know how. I think stuff like this would take at least 10 years. I don't care how many construction robots he builds. So this stage is full of Mets. They're just everywhere here. So for those of you wondering, are we going to see a giant Met? Well, yes we are. Notice these Mets have snorkels. Isn't that adorable? Man, what is it with them giving me extra lives today? I'm just going to go ahead and use the wire here. There are disappearing, reappearing blocks here. I'm just not going to mess with them. Here I'm going to use Rush Jet. And then the wire. Let's refill that. I'll give that a slight boost. How many E-tanks do I have? I've got full. Alright. Can I carry more than 9? No. Okay. I have to make sure to jump before he lands, otherwise I get paralyzed. Alright, so that's done for. That's actually one of the more difficult bosses in this game. I mean, it's rather difficult to get past him. You can't really slide underneath his jumps safely. You just have to take the hits. Oh, need to take that top one there. That was close. Alright, I've got full E-tanks, so I don't need that. Balloons are usually a good way to get up there for that E-tank. Ooh, I should have refilled my ring boomerang. Shoot. Alright, well, that's something I'll have to do in a second. We do have another boss coming up who is weak to the ring boomerang. Let's see what Eddie has for me today. Another extra life! Come on! I don't need those right now. I need weapon energy for my boomerangs. Okay. I think I can just, slide past most of this nonsense here. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, we got some little bubble bats here. What is it with the RNG today? I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just amazed. Okay, well... So you can actually detonate the drill bombs. That's right, I'm supposed to use Ring Boomerang on this guy. They did put you twice in a row against these guys. Ugh. I really needed that weapon energy. I'm thinking of one of the future bosses where I'm supposed to use the detonations from the drill bomb. Okay, well, he's down. We had enough to take him out. That was sort of silly. I can't believe I forgot which one was weak to the drills. Alright. Wily Stage 3. Time to refill those boomerangs. Okay. Thank you. Alright, I think I want to fall on the left side here. Yeah. Let's see here. Alright, we're doing great here. I think this is looking good. Alright, so we're gonna go into the teleporter fights here. We're gonna do the refights. And I'm gonna try fighting Dustman without using the Ring Boomerang. I am going to use the drills on Toadman, because I don't think I need that many of them. What am I doing? Let's take this nice and safe. It's not like I'm going to use this for anything else. I mean, really, Flash Stopper is one of the more useless weapons in the series. I just never got much use out of it. We're going to save up our Pharaoh Shot as well, so I'm going to... because that's another one of Wily's weaknesses. So, Ringman's fairly straightforward. You can lock him into that pattern and just take him apart. Alright, like I said, I'm going to do this with my Charge Busters, and we're going to save up our rings. Yeah, he can really abuse that vacuum when he wants to. Fun fact, Ruby Spears Company did a Mega Man cartoon in the 90s, and the weapon they decided to give role in that cartoon was a vacuum. But they were kind enough to actually remember to let her help Mega Man out, and she did fight a lot in the show. So, at least there's that. Got more respect on that show than she did in the games, I'll say that much. Alright, I'll go ahead and use the drill on Toadman so you can see what it does to him. I don't even think there was a time where Ruby Spears was one of Hanna-Barbera's main competitors. Are they still around? I just remember those days. It was like, you know, it was Hanna-Barbera, Filmation, and Ruby Spears made all the cartoons. Alright, Skullman, let's see what you got. Alright. I think this set him up so that he will not use the freeze on me. Because he only does it at certain points in his health. So yeah, that's got him. He's not that hard, he can just be kind of a headache. Drillman is by far the worst of the 8 Robot Masters. It doesn't help that the dive missiles, when they're homing in, sometimes choose poor pathing. You really just have to out-damage him, is the best way to do this fight. The drills are very difficult to dodge, to jump over, and make it away from the explosion. Okay, I think this is where we need the drill bombs. Oh, that's right, we need to use the ring boomerang first, and then the drill bombs. Okay. Alright, so this first form is weak to the ring. Alright, now we pull out the drill bombs. Again, we have to make sure to detonate it by pressing the attack button a second time after launch. Otherwise, it'll bounce off of him like so. We want him to hit that explosion. Okay, that was close. Almost died there. Alright. Okay, so, final stage. His weakness is the Pharaoh Shot. And they're not even kind enough there to give you any E-tanks or anything like that. No refills. You just gotta do it. Pharaoh Shot is the only thing that hurts him. So he puts us in a dark room here. We cannot actually see where he is teleported to until the flash goes off. So you only see him for a brief second there. But he stays there for long enough that you can get a hit in. And that's GG. Mega Man 4, folks. We don't get much of an ending here. I'm gonna get a snack real quick and something to drink. Let this run through.